last week the New South Wales government reformed the state's rental laws, effectively banning no grounds evictions. Now, Premier Chris Minns described this brings the rental market into the 21st century. And this week, typically, Victorian Premier Jacinta Allan followed suit, announcing 6 new reforms designed, she says, to benefit renters. But many say it further penalises landlords who are already really doing it tough because of land taxes. For more on this, I'm joined this evening by the CEO of the Real Estate Institute of Victoria, Kelly Ryan. Kelly, welcome to you. I mean, I guess the obvious question right up front is why with these changes would anyone want to be a landlord?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve. It is becoming quite a complicated market for our landlords, unfortunately, and they're critical to having a really successful, viable state is being able to have enough rental supply. And the majority of the rental supply in Victoria comes from people who own one property, and they're integral to how we house people. And unfortunately, at the moment, the amount of changes that are coming from the Victorian government are making things a little bit tougher than they have in the past.
Well, every time I go for a walk anywhere in Metro Melbourne, Kelly, I mean, I see for sale signs and a lot of them are up on one-bedroom apartments, which presumably are owned by small-time property investors, might have stuck it in their superannuation, but they're now getting whacked with things like land taxes and vacant home taxes, and they're thinking, well, I might get out and just plant my money somewhere else.
Yeah, that is a theme that we're hearing quite regularly from our agents and agencies that we represent. The amount of stock that has gone from the investor pool into the market to be sold has seen a significant increase this year alone. And seeing from the data, there's 20,000 less rental bonds actually being lodged in the last 12 months, which gives you an indication as to how many rental homes are no longer actually on the market for our renters.
So it seems that the government is pulling in two different directions. And on the one hand, they keep telling us we've got a rental and housing crisis. On the other hand, they keep whacking the property sector with ever more taxes. And so invariably, you're going to either move some people out of Victoria into places like Queensland, or you're going to get people selling up.
Yeah, these are conversations we've had quite regularly with the government, is that both need to be healthy. And we certainly advocate for our renters having a great rental experience, feeling safe and secure in a home that is well serviced is absolutely critical. So we never begrudge any changes that actually improve the renter's life. However, it is a really delicate balance, especially at the moment when we've come off 130 reforms in 2019 into COVID, where there were restrictions in terms of what you could and couldn't do with renters in your property, into now land tax, as you highlighted, mortgages have increased at a considerable rate, and now into some more changes and more yet to come. We do really want to see our investors that are providing this great service rewarded in some way, shape or form, especially in the short term, because we really want to make sure that we don't lose any more than we currently have.
So on Talkback Radio this week, I heard a lot of tenants, a lot of landlords, I should say, saying it's gone too far toward the tenants. What would your view on that be? Has it tipped too far one way?
Look, I think you have to take a balanced view. Again, we definitely advocate for great rental experiences, but there's a time and a place. And, you know, the messaging that we continue to give government is great initiatives that again, improve a rental provider's lifestyle is important. But at some stage, we do want to see a slowing down of the rental reforms just to give the market a little bit of reprieve, if you like. So we don't think some of these initiatives are too much to ask in terms of just pausing, delaying, allowing the market to balance itself a little bit more. Because whilst we've seen some great initiatives been announced from the government in the last week in terms of increasing supply, that supply will take many years to actually come to fruition. So we really need to make sure we can consolidate and lock down the investor market that we've got right now to make sure we've got enough homes for these renters to live in.
I'm not a landlord, but if I were, how hard is it for me to evict someone who's behind in their rent or has caused some damage on my property?
Yeah, the legislation is very prescriptive in the sense that you can't ask for an eviction, and even to get an eviction you must go to VCAT to request that. Someone's consistently late in their rent across a 12-month period, you have to issue 5 warnings before then you can lodge an eviction order with VCAT. But that's on a rolling cycle of a 12-month period. So it does start again once that 12-month period has concluded. So it does become increasingly challenging because of the legislation changes. But again, hopefully we can promote more great tenants and more great landlords, and we can really start to hopefully create more of a partnership mindset as well, because at the moment it does seem like there's just a little bit too much animosity in terms of the relationship between the renter and the rental provider, whereas we would really like to see it acted and everyone start behaving in more of a partnership mindset.
We've seen a bit of this book before. I mean, back in the early 90s, a lot of investors moved their investments to Queensland. Queensland's now got a coalition government with the LNP winning last weekend. Are you concerned, as someone who's trying to keep the real estate market in Victoria healthy, that Queensland might start chucking out some of those more odious taxes and attracting more and more investment north?
Yeah, obviously we keep a very close eye on our northern neighbours in particular. Queensland's been doing a great job as it is in attracting investment, as has South Australia of late. So we certainly do watch with great interest how these reforms impact our other neighbours. And notionally, we will watch really closely in terms of the changing government and what that means. But the focus for us is to continue working really closely with the Allan government. We do have a good relationship with them, and we do get consulted on these changes, and we just try and provide as much practical advice as we can, provide the data that backs up, the unintended consequences sometimes of some of these changes, and we'll continue to advocate on behalf of the investor and on behalf of our members, who are the agents and agencies and property managers that have to, at the end of the day, administer and manage all of this change, and them in their own right are finding it hard to keep up with the quantum of change as well.
Kelly Ryan from the REIV, thank you very much for your time tonight. Appreciate it very much.